and directors of Benson Idahosa University, our management team, please remain standing for the national anthem, which will quickly be followed by the Benson Idahosa University anthem, national anthem. Sorry for the opening prayer. I'm sorry, but let's remain I have the honor of calling on one of us, a senior professor in the university, Reverend Professor Osama Ihile, to please conduct the opening prayer for us, sir.
Our precious Father, we thank you for a time like this in the history of Benson Idahosa University and in the history of mankind. Thank you for bringing us together today to learn and advance knowledge. Thank you for Benson Idahosa University that you have great and enabled to host the 25th Inaugural lecture today. We are asking, O Lord, for inspiration on the part of the lecturer, for empowerment and grace for utterance in the precious name of Jesus. We are asking that at the end of this inaugural lecture, every audience will learn something to add value to us as individuals and as a corporate entity. Thank you, precious Redeemer. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed.
Thank you, sir. May I respectfully invite the Secretary to Council to take up the proceedings from here. Mr. Registrar.
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Chairman of the Senate of Benson Idahosa University, I'd like to extend a very, very warm greetings to everyone here present this afternoon and to welcome you all very specially to the 25th in the series of inaugural lectures of Benson Today's lecture presented by the Professor of Accounting, BSc Owerri, MSc Benin, PhD Oka, Professor Mrs. Rosemary Obasi. A round of applause, please. With the kind permission of the Vice Chancellor, I will introduce us, officers of the university, and as the program progresses, we'll introduce our guests. Please do kindly give your name to one of the ushers so we can recognize and welcome you to this event. There are some faces that are easily recognizable, but others we need to know who you are so we can properly introduce you. But first, officers of the university. Here present is the Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, who is the acting Vice Chancellor and Chairman of this event, a distinguished Professor of Law, Professor Mrs. Teresa Uzoamaka Akpogume, Ni Okafor. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. We have the Deputy Vice Chancellor General Duties of this university, Professor Taidi Ekrakene. Welcome, sir. We have the acting university bossa and chief financial officer of this university, Ms. Maureen Ikejimba. Thank you very much. We have the acting university have the Dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies, here represented by the Sub-Dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies, Dr. Mrs. Gina Asemuta. You're welcome, ma'am. I'd like to recognize, let me restrict myself to only those who are here seated. And in no particular order, from my extreme right, I'd like to recognize, the Dean of Students, the #1 student after the Vice Chancellor, Professor Robosa Ihensekian. You're welcome, sir. The Dean or Acting Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology, Dr. Eguari. You're welcome, sir. The Acting Dean of the Faculty of Law, Dr. Mrs. Clara Agbedia. You're welcome, ma'am. The Dean of the Faculty of Science, Professor Stephen Enabulele. You're welcome, sir. The Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Education, Professor Monday Agbonkpolo. You're welcome, sir. The Director of Entrepreneurship of Benson Idahosa University, Professor Umweri. You're welcome, sir. The Director of the Students Industrial Work Experience Scheme, SIWES. Director of GST. My apologies, sir. Is Dr. Omo Egwasa. You're welcome, sir. The Director of the Student Industrial Work Experience Scheme, Dr. Ovesei Ogbomo. You're welcome, sir. The Director of the Sandwich Programs, part-time and sandwich programs, Dr. Mrs. Chuku Jindu Okafor. You're welcome, ma'am. The Director of the pre-degree programs of Benson Idahosa University, Professor Mrs. Mabel Ehigato. You're welcome, ma'am. The Director of External Linkages of Benson Idahosa University, Professor Osondu Akoma. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. We have the Academic Officer, Mrs. Omonefe. Thank you very much for being here. And the MC this afternoon, supporting the registrar, is Dr. Chooks Ezirim. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. As we progress, we will introduce our guests. Please, some of our ushers are going around to collect your names. Please indicate your name and your portfolio so that we can introduce you properly. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor to, at this juncture, request the inaugural lecturer to kindly step forward and stand. Remain standing as I invite the Vice Chancellor and Chairman of the Senate of Benson Idahosa University to present the inaugural lecturer. A round of applause for the Vice Chancellor, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me welcome you all to this 25th Inaugural Lecture of Benson Idahosa University in Benin City. We thank God for traveling mercies. I know that most of you traveled from long distances, but God brought you here safely to be with us. Before I start, I know that the registrar would, announce the dignitaries that are here, but there are some persons that I will not, forgive me, registrar, but let me just, I would like to introduce to us today Professor R.A. Anao, the grandfather of accounting profession in Nigeria. Please clap for him. Professor Anao groomed all of us, both those in accounting and outside accounting, so you can understand. I have my academic father and mother here, Professor and Mrs. Sani Bamidele. You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, ma. Professor Sani was also here. Mrs. Sani Grace was once our university librarian in Benson Idahosa, so you can understand. And I'm seeing people that look like CWO women. You're welcome. And my student reverend father, Alex, the father of St. Peter's. You're welcome. I think I'm correct, St. Peter's. You're welcome. He's my student, but today he's dressed in Reverend Father regalia. You're welcome, Father. And sitting close to him is our direct thought leader in the field of accounting, known for her intellectual depth, academic discipline, and purposeful leadership at Benson Idahosa University, Benin City, Nigeria. Her comprehensive CV highlights an illustrious career marked by scholarly excellence, innovative research, and dedicated service to higher education. Professor Obasi holds a PhD in accounting from Nnamdi Azikiwe University, an MSc in accounting from University of Benin, a BSc in accounting from Imo State University, and an OND in accounting from Auchi Polytechnic. She is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCA, associate of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ACA, associate Institute of Certified Cost Managers of Nigeria, ACCM, associate Nigerian Statistical Association, ANSA, and holds membership in prestigious bodies, including the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, the American Accounting Association, member Institute of Corporate Administration, member International Development and Sustainability Society, member Organization for Women in Science for Developing World, member Academy of Management Nigeria, member Business and Applied Sciences Academy of North America, member National Association of Artificial Intelligence Practitioners, and pioneer treasurer of the Association of Cybersecurity Practitioners. She also attended Holy Trinity Grammar School, Sabongida, Ura. Let me at this point also welcome all Old Students Association of this great institution. Our dear Vice Chancellor graduated from this same school, so he extends his welcome to you. Since joining BIU in 2007 as assistant lecturer, she progressed to professor in 2021, teaching diverse undergraduate and postgraduate courses in financial accounting, auditing, research methodology, forensic accounting, and more. Beyond academia, she served as Chief Compliance Officer at Krillpay Incorporated USA, staff at Motari Dangana & Co., and early roles in bookkeeping and lecturing. She has supervised numerous undergraduates, MSc students to successful completion and ongoing PhD student supervision. Professor Obasi has authored a book published in Germany and sold by Amazon, multi-book chapters, and over 40 peer-reviewed journal articles in outlets like International Research Journal of Finance and Economics, Research in World Economy, and ICANN Journal of Accounting and Finance, focusing on financial reporting, corporate governance, audit quality, financial fraud, and IFRS adoption in Nigeria. Her recent work includes analysis of fraud in Nigerian banks and AI in higher education quality assurance. She has presented papers at international conferences such as African Accounting and Finance Association Conference, Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, USA Conference, Sona College of Arts and Science, Third International Conference, National Conference of the Academy of Management of Nigeria, amongst others. Grant achievements. Professor Obasi is a two-time grant winner of SAGE Research Methods, Data and Research Literacy, United Kingdom 2025. She is the current serving Dean of the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, former Director of Academic Sub-Dean FSMS, represented the VC on several occasions, Covenant University 18th Convocation, University of Benin 48th Convocation, Acting Head of Department, Senate Member 2015 till date, Senate Rep of Universities Governing Council till date, FSMS Congregation Representative to Senate, Advisory Board Member BIU Consultancy Unit, Board Member BIU Research Directorate, Member University Admissions Board, Departmental Coordinator of Diploma Program, Coordinator MSc Accounting, Departmental Coordinator of SciWest, Departmental Coordinator of Students Project, Acting Director of the General Studies Unit. She carried 18 key committees on quality assurance, staff regulations, budget defense, inspection and acceptance committee, faculty students examination misconduct committee, etc., and members of 95 committees and secretary of about 4. I think we should clap for her. National and Community Service. She hosted Association of Certified Fraud Examiners, USA International Fraud Awareness Week, participated in Commonwealth online consultation and view sharing to influence the proceedings at the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Samoa, October 2024. Participated in Commonwealth Roundtable on Climate Advocacy, Climate Financing, Debt Justice, and Government to connect, deliberate, and devise recommendations for finance ministers in Commonwealth nations. Participated in Commonwealth Roundtable on Gender, Climate Change, and Health. How can we do better for women and girls, July 2023. Participated in Commonwealth Second Critical Conversations event, Reimagining Women, Peace and Security, November 2020. Member of the 61st ICANN's President Think Tank. Served as external assessor and examiner for universities like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Babcock University, Achievers University, and Wellspring University. Reviewer for several international and local journals, Asian Journal of Economics, Business and Accounting, Academy of Management Nigeria, West African Social and Management Sciences Review. Editor-in-Chief and Advisory Board Member of Journal of Postgraduate Studies, Benson Idahosa University, West African Social and Management Sciences Review, International Accounting and Taxation Review, Accounting and Management Review, Sokoto Journal of Management Studies. Technical Reviewer of BSc Accounting, 30% course developed of 7 Nigeria universities, which includes Clifford University, Owerenta, Abia State, Federal University, Doshinma, Lagos State University, Lagos State University of Science and Technology, Delta State University, Abraka, Skyline University, Nigeria, Nasarawa State University, Kefi. She was LOC chairman member of several academic conferences at Benson Idahosa University, Committee of DAPs and ICANN Conference, panel session chairman and rapporteur at academic conferences, public speaker during IFAO, and resource persons for the training of senior and junior staff of Chevron and NMPL 2020 and 2024. Admiralty University Ibusa Delta State CC Mass Workshop 2023. Keynote address during the in-house training for all internal audit staff members of BIU 2021 and University Orientation Program 2025 resource person. And founder, Ateseme Anna Aneke Foundation 2024, which has awarded university degree scholarships to deserving students. She has received so many awards and recognitions, which include Vice Chancellor Commendation for Capacity for Handling Difficult Assignments and a Rate of Trustworthiness and Loyalty to the Vision, Mission, and Core Purpose of the University. Vice Chancellor Commendation for Unalloyed Support, Hard Work, Commitment, and Dedication to Service of the University. Commendation from Dean of Social and Management Sciences for working tirelessly, source of wise counsel and moral support during challenging times, being most cooperative, diligent, outstanding in performance, duties assigned, invaluable contribution to the smooth and successful running of the faculty. Commendation from the Dean of the Social and Management Sciences for exemplary commitment and work in the faculty, thoroughness, creativity, and innovative skills. Almasi Doa's ambassador, honored to represent Africa's vanguard in contributing to a global movement towards accessible community health scholarly communication without financial barriers, 2026. Emeritus Professor Peter Okebukola recognition as the best director of academic planning in Nigeria, 2022-2023. Recipient of the BIU and NUPA TED in series of annual registry lecture award of excellence in recognition of outstanding achievement in the accreditation of university program, September 2024. Recipient of the Sociology and Anthropology at 20 Award of Excellence. Distinction in Theory, Practice, and Future of Academic Planning in University Education 2022. Practical Skills for Delivering CC Mass in an Online Environment 2023. Artificial Intelligence for Teaching, Research, and Community Service 2024. Distinction in Cybersecurity Training. Distinction in Quality Assurance of Higher Education Training, etc. West Virginia University and Coursera Distinction Award for Financial Accounting and Fraud Examination 2024. Accounting Lecturer of the Year 2012. Professor Olufemi Peters Prize, Best in Discussion Forum at the 11-week intensive practical training in cybersecurity, July 2025. As an academic and administrator, Professor Obasi is known for her people-centered approach and unwavering commitment to standards. She continues to inspire students, colleagues, and practitioners through her scholarship, mentorship, and ethical leadership. Her career reflects a rare blend of intellectual rigor, professional service, and a deep commitment to transparency, discipline, and excellence in accounting profession across Nigeria and beyond. Professor Rosemary Obiageri Obasi is happily married to Mr. Felix I. Obasi, and their marriage is blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, I hereby introduce to you today the 25th Inaugural Lecturer of Benson Idahosa University in the person of Professor Mrs. Rosemary Obiageri Obasi.
Chancellor, Benson Idahosa University, His Grace, Archbishop Dr. Margaret E. Idahosa, JPOON, the President, Benson Idahosa University, Bishop Dr. Feb Idahosa II, the Vice Chancellor of Senate, Professor John A. Okwod, FNIST, MNIM, Principal Officers of the University, former Vice Chancellors of Benson Idahosa University and organizations present, Host of College of Medicine, Deans of Postgraduate School, former Deans of the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, Deans of other faculties, the head of the Department of Accounting, directors and other heads of departments and units, members of Senate, principal officers of other institutions, members of staff of Benson Idahosa University, colleagues from sister universities, the President, Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, all the clergies present, all royal eminent personalities present, all my family members, nuclear and extended, my mentors, my mentees, and my graduates, gentlemen and ladies of the press, distinguished invited guests and friends, esteemed students of the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences, great Benson Idahosa University students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. VC Ma, it is with a profound sense of humility and immense gratitude that I stand before you today to deliver my inaugural lecture. This is not merely a ceremonial rite of passage, nor simply a moment to reflect on the academic journey that has culminated in this esteemed professorial chair at Benson Idahosa University. Rather, it is a significant intellectual milestone, a unique platform to articulate the philosophical underpinning of my scholarly quest, to share the insights gleaned from years of rigorous inquiry, and to project a vision for the continued evolution and impact of my discipline. Many people asked me what inaugural lecture means. So at this juncture, an inaugural lecture serves as a vital bridge connecting specialized academic research with the broader university community and society, offering a synthesis of one's contributions and a glimpse into the future trajectory of their field. It is an honor, a privilege, and a profound responsibility that I embrace wholeheartedly. My personal journey, academic journey, which I have defined as from hesitation to passion in accounting. My entry into the fascinating world of accounting was quite honestly a serendipitous accident, a twist I never saw coming. After a couple of academic sessions, I was granted admission to study accounting, yet this same opportunity was given to me immediately after my WAEC. I turned it down, driven by a dream to become a medical doctor. Rather, JAMB offered me an unexpected admission to study radiology at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. To me, it felt like a cruel joke, a mocking admission, as I was set on medicine, not radiology. My aspiration then was not merely to be a doctor, but to revolutionize healthcare with a deep humanitarian spirit, treating those who could not afford medical bills and transforming the medical profession. Not until I met this person, he said to me, "I wish you were good at mathematics. I recommend accounting for you. Since math is a nightmare to most girls, you should consider business administration. I started him with response. I am very good at math and fair accounting. To me, accounting was more than numbers. It was a challenge I was ready to embrace this time. What began as a test of my mathematical ability soon blossomed into a genuine passion. As a science student, grappling with debit and credit entries initially felt like decoding a secret language. Time, my curiosity deepened. I became fascinated by the inner workings of organizations, how wealth is created, managed, and how transparent, truthful information serves as the foundation of economic activity. My first tentative steps to an undergraduate through the intensity of postgraduate studies to the rigorous demands of academic research, teaching, and community services, each phase has reinforced my belief in accounting's transformative power. This discipline stands for something profound: truth, clarity, and accountability, the very pillars on which organized society stands. Looking back, what started as a reluctant detour has become my life's calling. My journey from uncertainty to conviction has shown me that sometimes the paths we resist most passionately are the ones we are destined to follow. The path to professorship is never a solitary one. It is paved with the unwavering support of mentors who provided guidance and challenged intellectual boundaries, by the collaborative spirit of colleagues whose insight enriched my perspectives, and by the boundless curiosity of my students who continually remind me of the dynamic nature of learning and the importance of accessible knowledge. To my family, whose sacrifices, encouragement, and unwavering love have been the most fuel to my endeavors, I extend my deepest appreciation to your belief in me has been my greatest strength. Good afternoon, distinguished audience. My service and contribution beyond the lecture hall. While the pursuit of knowledge through research and teaching remains central to my academic identity, my journey has also been significantly shaped by opportunities to contribute to academic community and the wider society through various service roles. These experiences have provided invaluable insights into the practical application and profound societal impact of the principles I teach and research. For instance, my tenure as the Director of Academic Planning at Benson Idahosa University afforded me a unique vantage point on the strategic imperatives of higher education. This role involved ensuring the quality, relevance, and strategic direction of our academic programs, aligning them with national development goals and global best practices. It requires a deep understanding of resource allocation, performance metrics, and continuous pursuit of excellence, all inherently linked to sound accounting and management principles. This underscores the critical role of data-driven decision-making in fostering institutional growth and academic integrity. Furthermore, my privilege to serve and still serving as a Senate representative to the university's governing council has provided me with a comprehensive understanding of the highest levels of university governance. This involvement in oversight, policy formulation, and strategic direction for the entire institution has deepened my appreciation for the intricate relationship between sound governance structure and organizational stability. It has been a testament to the importance of accountability, transparency, and ethical leadership in complex organizational settings. Beyond the immediate confines of the university, my commitment to financial integrity and societal well-being finds expression in my annual commitment to International Fraud Awareness Week. This annual engagement provides a vital platform to educate the Benson Idahosa University's community and its environs, the public, businesses, and government entities on the pervasive threat of fraud, its devastating economic and social consequences, and the preventive measures that can be adopted. It is a direct application of my accounting expertise to a critical societal challenge, emphasizing the proactive role our profession can play in safeguarding public resources and fostering trust. These diverse engagements have not only enriched my personal and professional development, but have also broadened my perspective on the immense potentials of accounting to serve as a potent instrument for positive societal change. Setting the stage, the imperative for nation building. My VC man, today I invite you to join me as we explore a topic that lies at the very heart of economic stability, societal trust, and national progress. From numbers to nation building, the imperative of financial reporting, governance for accountability, and often perceived as a mere technical function, is in fact a power engine for national development. We will delve into how robust financial reporting illuminates the path to transparency, how effective corporate governance ensures responsible stewardship, and how emerging technologies are revolutionizing our capacity for accountability. Furthermore, we are examining how accounting principles can be applied to the accountability of public sector entities, specifically state governments in Nigeria. Ultimately, I will posit that these seemingly disparate elements converge to form an indispensable framework for building a Nigeria characterized by integrity, prosperity, and sustainable growth for all its citizens. Here I present before you the Nigerian financial reporting landscape from our independence days till present day, how the interest for accountability has been pursued by different institutional authorities. From pre-1960, our independence years, the colonial masters were the administrators, and they brought in the UK-based accounting rules, as well as limited disclosures. The significance for accountability, it was observed that it was minimal transparency, colonial compliance focus. If you look down in 1982, we had about 3 different critical milestones. The Company Act of 1982, the Companies and Allied Matters Act of 1982, the Nigerian Accounting Standard Board was also established in that year. All these were to ensure accountability. And presently, we have digital and sustainable reporting focus as driven by Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria and SEC. And the key feature of that is the environmental, social, and governance reporting awareness, SBRL initiatives. The significance for accountability is still forward-looking accountability and sustainability. Now, the essence of financial reporting. To start this, I would like to define financial reporting as the process of communicating financial information about an entity to external users. This information typically presented in financial statements such as the statement of financial position, which we used to know as the balance sheet, the statement of profit, loss, and other comprehensive income, we used to know it as the income statement, the statement of cash flows, and statement of changes in equity. It's designed to be useful to a wide range of stakeholders for making informed economic decisions. This definition was extracted from International Accounting Standard Board 2018. The ultimate purpose is to provide a true and fair view of an entity's financial performance, position, and cash flows. The adoption of IFRS, which simply means International Financial Reporting Standards, represented a laudable step towards greater transparency. Its implementation has the quality of financial statement audits, the enforcement mechanism of regulatory bodies, and the prevalence of a significant informal sector continue to pose hurdles to achieving optimal financial reporting quality across all segments of the Nigerian economy. In a developing economy like Nigeria, where institutional weaknesses may exist, the quest for robust financial reporting is an ongoing journey that requires continuous vigilance, regulatory enforcement, and a strong commitment from preparers and auditors alike. Now, some of us will share in this scenario I want to paint. You must have been observing a particular company over the years, and all of a sudden they tell you you have breaking news, and it stated that this company is folding up. And you are wondering, because last year we saw this company's annual report, it was huge profit, audited report, huge profit. Previous years, huge profit. All of a sudden, this company is folding up. Happening, and as a young researcher then, I had several questions in my mind. Questions like, can our present income statements at first glance tell us the success of a company for a period? Can the statement be used over the years to know if an entity is on top of the tree? Why do highly profitable companies collapse unnoticed? Does profitability equate solvency or liquidity? Can a company's huge profit be presented as cash? How much of company's wellness can its profit represent, etc.? Now, what did I do after asking those questions? My academic work has consisted to address this by delving into the shades of financial reporting, proposing innovations, and examining how information can be made more useful and transparent for diverse users. To address the various financial reporting questions, we evaluated and studied financial reports to ascertain why profit is not equal to cash, that is liquidity, and why a profitable company can collapse without notice. To answer these questions, the following researches were conducted. One way to answer the financial reporting quest, my research delved into the very structure and presentation of core financial statements, especially the profit or loss statements. Our work on the thematic analysis of income statement, as published by Obasi in 2011, aimed at dissecting the profit or loss account to identify aligning narratives and key performance themes that might be obscured by conventional reporting formats. Before we did that, we did some literature review, and we saw that so many other researchers have specified some things that they thought was the reason for companies to collapse without notice. Things like, they tell you estimates, that accountants use estimates. That's why sometimes you can't really tell whether the profit is equivalent to liquidity. Some would say that it is provisioning, accrual. All these are what we found in the literature review, as posited by Paul, 1975, Edward, 1973, Degan, 2006, and even PricewaterhouseCoopers, 2007. That these factors can only explain insignificant aspects of the cause or problem. In the environment and trading, we discovered that main cause, why profit is not equal to cash, is the accountants disclose credit transactions in financial statements. If you look at what we have before us, this is the, the first item there, which is called turnover, is the same thing as sales. For those who do business, you sell. This is how we record your sales in our report. That turnover there takes care of the sales. And how do we capture that for them? This is to hit the name of the company as the year. But this is a true report. 31.5 billion sales. So our sales dot expenses like cost of sales, distribution expenses, admin expenses, and even we pay as well as dividend from the obtained profits. That here, this turnover is made up of two components. When you sell and receive cash, we recognize it there. When you sell on credit, credit to be paid later is also recognized there. So that 31.5 billion you are seeing there is made up of actual cash that has been realized and the one that they are expecting. And like it's just shown like this. And then we have a profit of 3.1 billion. Let's move on. After we realized that the problem lies in the way we recognize our sales, what did we do? We felt we should also find out whether this perspective is agreeable with the user of the statement. So following this quest for enhanced reading, our research focused on problem. To explain the reason why a company profit might not have liquidity or cash. Obasi and Equate 2011B and 12 show us what we did to show that. But in solving this, we proposed a two-column profit and test statement. We started with investors. As investors of the relevance of track state 2020. This was significant because it moved beyond the utility of specific disclosure from the perspective of the end. Our findings suggest that disclosure, the current presentation sufficient and aggregation indicate that 6.8 investors more explicit and more relevant for analytical decision making. Remember the definition of financial reporting. We report to external users so that they will be able to make appropriate decisions. But where our report is not telling them that the profit they are seeing is not all cash and it's not all sustainable, it's now misguiding their decision. It's not achieve the purpose that it was set for. So this is what we proposed. we propose a 2-column profits and loss account, where if you look at that, this column, you will recall that it was what we showed in the first diagram. This first column and the last one was the traditional report. These two sections were that if accountant can try to dissect the turnover into showing us what is really cash, what we really earn as cash transaction, and what we actually earn, that we are expecting to earn as the credit says, and treat our expenses to each of them, it will give an inkling to a eroding it from once. And when the company wants to collapse, it will be very difficult for us to see. For example, what I have here showing us, you see the credit column. This is a true report. The good thing about this report is that the cash sales is more. They have 29.8 billion cash sales. Sales expenses also like credit, also buy on credit. So that is part of sales. If you look at the cost of there, this company's cost of sales is better than our cost. We also purchase higher than we. That's already a higher credit gross profit. So we are already making, could be called gain because we bought more than this. So if you look at the credit column, you discover that I have a negative 2.5 or 2.6 billion. Let's assume that the credit than cash companies make more credit sales than cash sales. And if they have huge profits in negative sense, where would they pay it from? Is a big question. Such companies will be eating their capital paying because they must pay that expense from somewhere. But the good news about this particular one we showed now, the cash sales is more than the credit sales. So that was all from there, which was now giving us 3.6 billion. The next showing our statistical report that shows that investors support these two credits, these two statements, that the traditional one. For if investors support our proposition, so what we want to see what our fellow accountants will perceive what we are designed to be. We did another study which was published as Accounting Clarity via 2-column profit or loss statements, and for accountants and investors' opinion. By saying 400 investors and 340 accountants, the sense of this study is that both the investors and accountants, we both perceive the 2-column profit loss account equally, as opposed to the non-hypothesis there. Why the hypothesis is that their perception would be different, as shown there. The results showed that the meaning of the accountant of the investors are equal in absolute terms. The T statistics report that the non-hypothesis is true, since the calculation less than the T of the table in every question item, and we are all significant at 5%. This is very crucial for standard setters and the financial statement preparers, guiding them towards more decision useful reporting. It underscores that transparency is not about quantity of information, but about the quality and relevance of what is disclosed, in a manner that really aids comprehension and fosters trust. All this we did under financial reporting for corporate. I also had this question. In the corporate world, we have financial ratios we use to analyze corporate performances. Why is it that we cannot analyze financially the performance of our state governor, even our public sector? So it kept me wondering, and we went into a lab and did some studies. We found that accounting ratios can help evaluate government's performance. In an assessment of performance through financial ratio analysis model, published by Obasi and Ekweme 2012. This study was in 2 phases that lasted for several years. The first was the distribution of survey to ascertain citizens' performance. We distributed 1,000 questionnaires and retrieved 857 questions, out of which 830 were not usable. Analyzed, and we generated 20 financial ratios, which we subgrouped into 3 broad areas of Edo citizens' perspective. Citizens were interested in government development, they were interested in financial related performance, and also interested in security performances. It can be used to measure government performance. After we discovered ratios, we needed to test them. When you have a framework, you need to test whether it can work or it works. So the second study used to test these ratios, we were only able to work with only 11 out of the 20 ratios and multiple effects. So our study of 2012, 1999 through 2010, that is 12 years inclusive of government. Would not have ratios. So these are the ratios we developed. We had, of course, for the financial ratios, we have the revenue margin ratio, which we defined as internally generated revenue divided by the total revenue. We have the efficiency ratio, which is divided by the capital. Divided salary to total revenue. We have the utilization capital utilization ratio, which we defined as the capital expenditure divided by the total revenue. And we have current ratio, which checks the current internally generated revenue against the internal loans. But when we ran a regression correlation analysis, we saw that there is collinearity that gave us the strongest result, which are the debt ratio, which is defined as internally generated divided by and we have the debt ratio, which is equal to total debt over total revenue, and which is called the capital debt ratio is debt divided by the ratio. That ratio test our government in those states. If for any reason come out today and say, hey, government, pay debt, we take away. State government says, okay, every citizen, you have to contribute something so we can clear this debt. This tells how much each citizen is expected to contribute. For the 12 years that we studied, we know that be expected to contribute approximately 150 naira each person in the state. And the maximum is 13,000 some fraction. Fantastic results we found when we ran our analysis. We found two fantastic results. 4 ratios were directly related to state government performance, and 4 ratios were indirectly related to state government performance. What do I mean when I say directly related? When we say directly related, it simply means that those ratios that are directly related to state government performance, as they are increasing, so is state government performance increasing. Why the indirect or the inverse relationship shows that if the ratios increase, state government performance will what? Drop. And if state government performance peradventure increases, those ratios performance will drop. So that was our major finding. Now what's the rationale about this? We found, and this model was very, very, very strong at 77 explanatory power and significant at 5% level of significance. I thought we would come up to that. Thank you. Direct positive impacts, like I explained. We discovered that revenue collection, emolument ratio, debt ratio, and that state per capita ratio, when these ratios are increasing, state government performance also increases. But ratios like revenue margin, current ratio, and recurrent utilization ratio, when they increase, state government performance drops. This simply means that the more revenue enable expanded services as well as investment. When state government borrow, ordinarily that should expand our investment and development in the state. But sometimes we see otherwise. And then when debts are raised, like we said, we borrow to boost performance. But amongst this ratio, we discover that the revenue collection and the per capita debt ratio are very strong in determining state government performance. Details of this finding is very interesting. When you get the lecture notes, you can read it, and also you could find this paper published online for more details. An interesting study I share with you this afternoon. The indirect ratios, like I have already said, when they are increasing, the more the government has cash in its coffers, the less it performs. It makes sense, isn't it? Because when they have more cash somewhere, they can easily divert it. Our studies show that that's true. We also discover that recurrent spending, the more they spend, pay salary, if most of their spending is on salary and maintenance, their performance will drop because they won't have much for development. Isn't it true? So our study found that. So the takeaway here is that we must balance revenue and debt with efficient spending allocation. VC, ma'am. Thank you. This proposed innovation is a direct response to the call for more transparent and decision-useful financial reporting, enabling stakeholders to differentiate between transient gains and sustainable performance, thereby fostering more accurate valuation and better resource allocation decisions. It is an example of how academic inquiry can lead to practical improvement in the very tools of our trade. The second arm of my studies is the corporate governance. Building on the foundation of transparent financial reporting, the second imperative for nation building lies in effective corporate governance. Corporate governance refers to the system by which organizations are directed and controlled, as reported by Cadbury Committee 1992. It emphasizes the relationships between a company's management, its boards of directors, its shareholders, and other stakeholders. Good corporate governance aims to ensure that companies are run efficiently, ethically, and in a way that maximizes long-term shareholders' value while considering the interest of all stakeholders. The core principles of a good corporate governance typically include transparency, that is, openness for information and reporting, accountability, holding individuals and organizations responsible for their actions, fairness, ensuring equitable treatment of all shareholders, including minority shareholders, responsibility, recognizing and addressing stakeholders' interests such as employees, customers, suppliers, community, etc. Independence, ensuring the board of directors act independently of management and dominant shareholders. Strong corporate governance promotes decisions that prioritize organizations and stakeholders' interests while reducing conflicts of interest and managing risk effectively. Consequently, robust governance mechanisms are essential to bridge the principal agent issues. Now, this is a word cloud, showing the problems and weaknesses and challenges we have with our corporate governance architecture. If you look at the screen there, you see the most emphasized challenge is corruption. That's why it's bigger. You see lack of transparency. You see weak enforcement. You see board independence. You see ethical dilemmas, etc., etc. The relationship between corporate governance and financial reporting quality is symbiotic, as reported by Schaeffler and Vishny, 1997. Strong corporate mechanism, particularly an independent and effective audit committee, robust internal controls, and a culture of ethical leadership significantly enhance the reliability and integrity of financial reports. Conversely, weak governance can lead to financial manipulation, opaque reporting, and ultimately corporate failures that can have ripple effects throughout the economy. Effective corporate governance serves as a vital signal of a country's commitment to global best practices and ethical business conduct. In emerging economies like Nigeria, the imperative of strong corporate governance is amplified. These economies often face unique challenges, including concentrated ownership structure, weak institutional framework, less developed capital markets, and a higher prevalence of corruption. Kepler and Love, 2004. For countries like ours, where policy enforcement is weak, the test of the role and effectiveness of its corporate governance system is imperative. Thus, with my interest in fostering national development, the following studies were conducted. My research has directly engaged with these critical issues, like linking the micro-level dynamics of corporate governance to the macro aspiration of nation development. Firstly, a significant contribution to this discourse is captured in my paper, Corporate Governance Research, Opportunities in Nigeria, a National Development Issues, as published by Obasi, 2019. This work systematically identified critical gaps in existing research and highlighted areas where focused academic inquiry could provide actionable insights for policymakers, regulators, practitioners in Nigeria. We argued that corporate governance is not just a concern for listed companies, but fundamental national development issue. Weaknesses in corporate governance structure can lead to economic stagnation, capital flight, and erosion of public trust, factors that directly impede sustainable growth and equitable resource distribution. The research highlights the need for studies investigating the effectiveness of corporate governance code across sectors, ownership structures, impact on governance quality, institutional investors and shareholders' activism roles, corporate challenges in state-owned and public institutions, and connections between governance practices and anti-corruption initiatives. Thank you. Beyond structures and regulations, my research also delved into the human element that ultimately drives corporate behavior. Our studies on the influence of CEO characteristics on financial reporting quality in Nigeria, in non-financial listed companies, as published by Umar, Novadilla, Abdullahi, and Obasi 2021, Ilaboya and Obasi 2018, CEO attributes and accounting numbers, and Moses and Obasi 2024, the impact of independent directors' educational background and tenure on financial performance of listed financial companies in Nigeria. All these studies were on corporate governance, and they provide crucial insights into how the attributes of organizations' top leadership, such as their education, experience, gender, and tenure, can significantly impact the integrity and quality of financial reporting. These studies underscored how why strong corporate governance framework are essential. They are only as effective as the individuals who operate within them. These works highlight the critical importance of leadership selection, ethical training, and the cultivation of a culture of integrity from the very top to bottom. They are a reminder that corporate governance is not just about rules. It is profoundly about people, their values, and their commitment to accountability. This paradigm elevates rules plus people to good governance, reducing fraud, boosting investors' trust, and ensuring sustainable integrity. Also, Obasi and Egwasa, April 2023, specifically evaluated the readiness of the CEO in embracing attitudes of the Gen Z on the board. This study cut across governance and technology in the digital age. The third arm of our research is on technology as a catalyst driving accountability in digital age. The accounting profession stands at the precipice of a profound technological revolution. Innovations such as artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, big data analytics, blockchain technology, cloud computing, and robotic process automation are rapidly transforming how financial reporting is processed, analyzed, and reported. Deloitte 2022. AI and machine learning can automate routine tasks, detect complex patterns of fraud. Human eyes might miss and provide predictive insights. Big data analytics allow for the processing of vast data sets to identify trends, risks, and opportunities. Robotic processing automation can streamline repetitive accounting processes, freeing up human accountants to focus on higher value analytical and strategic tasks. These technologies are used worldwide, but in a developing economy like Nigeria, they offer great potential to bypass outdated infrastructure and tackle ongoing issues of corruption and inefficiencies. Nigeria's fintech sector, with the number of companies increasing from 255 in January 2024 to over 430 by February 2025, representing a 70% year-over-year growth in 2024. While specific adoption rates of digital accounting tools remain limited in recent data, studies indicate increasing uptake among small and medium enterprises and micro, small, and medium enterprises, driven by tools like QuickBooks, Microsoft Excel, Zoho Books, with digital innovation accounting for 53% of variance in financial reporting improvement in manufacturing firm, as reported by Adeyemi et al. 2025. The application of these technologies to the public sector, particularly in areas like budget management, anti-corruption efforts, offers a transformative pathway towards greater accountability. Advanced data analytics involve the sophisticated examination of large data sets to discover hidden patterns, correlations, and other insights, as according to Association of Certified Fraud Examiners 2022. In the context of public sector accounting, this means analyzing government spending, revenue collection, and procurement data to identify anomalies, inefficiency, or suspicious transactions that might indicate fraud or misstatement. For example, the patterns of unusual high expenditures with specific vendors, unexplained spikes in certain cost categories, or discrepancies between reported activities and actual outcomes can be flagged for further investigations. This moves accountability from reactive auditing to proactive real-time monitoring. The questions are, how can we employ this technology to drive transparency and reduce corruption? Can government contracts, budget allocations, and public funds be tracked on chains? What technology and information be democratized? Dr. Dave, I need your attention, please. Second part of my recent academic endeavor has focused on blockchain technology and mobile platform to enhance budget transparency and the use of AI machine in government transactions to involve the enrich knowledge. This is a reaction of what we are talking about. But if we apply technology to government systems, we will achieve better transparency and reduce corruption. The essence of financial reporting, governance, and security. We apply individual trends of robust financial, effective corporate governance, and transformative technology to articulate elements form the very bedrock of nation building and sustainable development. They are not isolated concepts, rather, they are intricately linked, mutually reinforcing. Financial transparency, through high-quality reporting, provides the accurate and timely data that stakeholders need to make informed decisions. Understanding of where resources are coming from and where they are going in the private and public sector. What corporate finance provides the ethical framework and oversight mechanism to ensure these resources are managed prudently and invested for stakeholders. It reduces leakages, discourages corruption, and fosters of accountability. Technology acts as accelerant, find reach effective both financial reporting and governance. It enables real-time monitoring, accessibility of information, and enhances the capacity of detecting and prevention of irregularities. Strong a nation and environment trust. Trust, in turn, is the currency for economic prosperity. It attracts domestic investment, encourages entrepreneurial activity, stabilizes financial markets among citizens in their institutions, as reported by Fukuyama, 1995. Please, Nigeria, as a developing economy rich in human and natural resources, faces many challenges related to sustainable economy, equitable resources, combating corruption, sound accounting practices, underpinned by strong governance and technology, are solution to these formidable orders. My recommendation for is to government and regulation. Government until institutional framework. Better efforts should focus on boosting revenue collection through improvement, maximizing emotions to performance-driven. Managing debt wisely is crucial. Leveraging it investment financial issues help their outcomes. Thank you. Private sector, best practices in corporate governance, prioritize ethical leadership, and recognize long-term capability, inextricably linked to transparency and accountability. Members of the board and accountability invest in technologies that enhance value. There should be selection down integrity. Like technology and governance. Should be increased to ensure compliance with international financial reporting standards and local regulations. Stakeholders should be educated on the issues of merged revenue disclosure. Additionally, regulatory bodies standard, provide continuous professional development, fellow academic researchers. Continue to delve into critical areas of financial reporting, corporate governance, and technological innovation. Our research is relevant, impactful, contribute to policy formulation and solution for our nation. And everyone seated here, citizens of Nigeria, please let us demand accountability, engage with public information, and hold leaders responsible for their stewardship of resources. Accounting is a dynamic discipline that evolves to meet societal complex demands, especially through robust financial reporting and corporate governance in developing nations. Accountability, trust, development. Several research, I won't repeat that, but professional roles such as Director of Academic and in Senate based on the foregoing, and as I on my journey to accounting, I proudly stand before you all today as a professor of developmental accounting, dedicated to shaping the future of accounting in developing economies with visionary core. Numbers don't just add up, they build nations. Nigeria's trustworthy, equitable, prosperous future demands this collective embrace of financial integrity as the bedrock of sustainable development. My future commitment at Benson Idahosa University, we focus on advanced accounting research, training ethical financial professionals, and delivering practical solutions to Nigeria's challenges informed by extensive experiences. This picture is just demonstrating what most of the things that you have heard. If we do here today, corruption will be reduced, economic growth will enhance public trust, we have improved social services, and hopefully we will reduce poverty. I have come to that point where I have to acknowledge those who have made this person who she is. It will be foolish of me to stand here today to lay claim to all this as a personal achievement. For those of us in the academics, we know that you can't do it alone. You have people behind the scene that are fueling your success. So in the grand tapestry of knowledge, no thread stands alone. Each insight, triumph, and lecture, hearts, and hundreds, and every matters. And you're always saying, family, collaborators, etc., who shaped Professor Rosemary Obiageri Obasi. Gratitude then is not mere words, but moral responsibility. So in accounting and beyond. VC ma'am. Two persons. If you have the lecture, printed lecture, this woman here had a lot of people pushing her from behind. I have a lot of, in short, I was asked to reduce my acknowledgement pages at a time. So, but please, as much as you are seated here, and a lot of those who are online, I don't know whether we are recognizing them, because Professor Okwe-Bukola called me to tell me that he's going to be online from the beginning through to the end. Please help us get in me and all you do for me. May God continue to not, but acknowledge the hands of the Almighty, the Creator of heaven and earth in my life. My Lord and Master, my BWF, the one before me, with me, and for me. The one who revealed in Psalm 119, that verse 105, that his word is like lamp unto my feet and light to my path. I revere you from the bottom of my soul. I give you all the praise, and may all the glory be yours forever and ever. I found gratitude to early spiritual teachers like Monsignor Olege, the late Monsignor Olege. Thank you. Very Reverend Father Idahosa Amadasu, Reverend Father Duru, and Father Alex Ejiofor seated here today. Thank you, Father, for all you do for me. I also wish to acknowledge specifically some special mentors like Sir Agudagu, and especially Reverend Father Monsignor Olege, whose examples of truth, humility, service, and ethical stewardship provided clarity in uncertainty and grounded intellectual pursuit, responsible service to the common good. To my beloved siblings seated here, to my donating her husband today as the Igwe of their community. So I recognize Igwe Barrister Ernest and Lolo Amaka Okpunwa for their love. My dear brother Piyoyo and Annie Aneke, all of you, you know I love you, and I thank you for loving me in return. I want to recognize my wonderful in-laws. They've taken me as one of them. Yes, we have situations in family. Some of them are here. I love you. Thank you for loving me and accepting me into your home. And I appreciate my in-laws, Mrs. Andra Aneke. Thank you. CWO. God bless you. May God continue to keep you for the support. And how can I thank Holy Trinity Grammar School? My senior men, I greet you all. Thank you, senior men and women, for coming. I appreciate you. ICANN, Upswan. Yeah, the president of ICANN told me he was sending the chairman of the district to represent him. I am so grateful to the president of ICANN and ICANN for this privilege. I want to sincerely thank my friends from Delta State who have traveled far to be here. I want to specially thank Mr. Chima of the NNPC branch. I was one of the trainers who trained them during their management when I was having my, my sabbatical. And when he heard this, he said, I will come. He traveled all the way from Abuja to be here. Wherever you are, may God bless you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. I want to sincerely thank MD and Co. for their wonderful support. They gave me the opportunity to serve as a trainee, of which they made me a leader to lead and even present at the board meeting. I am so grateful. I thank you for your support. Nopenco, another wonderful company I audited, they have always been there for me. My wonderful friends, how can I keep mentioning? Sir again, I greet you, sir. Thank you for honoring me. I want to thank you. Nene, please can you stand? My husband needs to see you. Nene, I always talk about you at home. That's my Nene, sir. Thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you my president, sir. Please, can you all stand and clap and recognize my president? To God be glory, sir, for coming. I thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm grateful, sir. Thank you so much. That's my president. Very humble, delectable, very, very humble. I learn a lot from him. Thank you so much for being here, sir. I can see some of my graduates. I can see CEO George. Thank you. I appreciate you. I can see Mrs. Akoma, my sister. I love you. Madam Adebayo, DAP. Please, I can't call everyone. My uncle, Barrister Felix Ahonsi. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. I want to thank everyone seated here. Professor Anao, Emeritus Anao. How can I thank this man? Please give him a resounding hand of applause. This man is a big pillar behind this person standing here this afternoon. Thank you, Prof, for all you do for me. I'm so grateful. They selected them seated there. These are the pillars behind me. This opportunity to be Benson Idahosa University. My knees are on the floor. I appreciate you, sir. My own daddy of Benson Idahosa University, Professor, Daddy and Mommy, Professor Bamidele Sani and his wonderful wife. I greet you. Thank you so much. Engineer Professor Edeko, I greet you all. Please, I call everyone. Just know you are important. If I didn't call you, it is not an intention to not recognize you. I'm seeing my baby friend from primary, secondary till date, Mrs. Grace Umaru. I love you. Thank you for coming all the way from Lagos. God bless you and keep you all in Jesus' name. So my parents, my daddy is here. For Benson Idahosa University, you know my mom in 2023. But I have my daddy here. Daddy, please stand up for recognition. Wonderful man. What can I say? Thank you, sir. Especially my parents, late Simon and Neke. Your combination. Fathers firm deeply for resilience, like fire, mother's tender wisdom, nurturing dreams, like crane, laid the unshakable foundation of my life and career. You were the first to refer to me as a professor. I don't know if you still remember. Hey, even then, I didn't even know what it meant. Today, I am truly your professor, sir. Thank you. I love you, man. Those gifts you are giving me every time I go to school. You read it. Thank you so much. To get the model partnership academy, turning trials into triumph. Every step I took honors your legacy. A little more sacrifice. So my father, what you would have been doing here today. Oh, my heart aches. In this sweet hour, your gentle voice whispers encouragement. in my moments. Your prayers, a celestial shield, true song, I could not wither alone. You departed too soon as my compass, the heartbeat behind my stone. In heaven's embrace, know your daughter has risen. But joy prevails, for you live in every page I write, every lecture I deliver. My profound gratitude goes to the visionary founder, Chancellor, Archbishop Idahosa I, a man who saw today and gave me this opportunity. The Chancellor, Archbishop Dr. Margaret Idahosa, and our ebullient President, Bishop Dr. Feb Idahosa II. The indefatigable Council Chairman, Professor Pat Otomi, and distinguished members of our Governing Council for granting me this opportunity to first and foremost be an academic staff and to present my inaugural lecture. Thank you. How can I ever forget my vice chancellors who gave me wonderful opportunities, from Professor M.O. Adediran, who recommended my appointment to become staff of Benson Idahosa University, to Professor Mark Donald Idu for finding me worthy of being a senior lecturer, Professor Ernest Izevige, Associate Professor and Congregational Rep, Professor Sam Gobadia, who made me a professor, which made today a reality, and appointed me his Director of Academic Planning for 4 years. Professor John Oyedeji, I'm sure he's somewhere here. I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Professor John Oyedeji found me worthy to be the Dean of the Faculty of Social and Management Sciences in 2024 to date. And my distinguished and astute Vice Chancellor, Professor John Aroye Okwoya. Thank you. Who not only found me worthy as Dean, but a worthy personality to be a member of the university's Governing Council. Since 2025 to date, I am most grateful to each and every one of you. I wish to especially thank the principal officers, Professor Teresa Akpogome, Ni Okafor, DVC Administration, Professor Taidi Ekrakenem, DVC General Duties, Miss Maureen Ikejimba, Acting Librarian, and Dr. Mary Idahosa, Acting Bossa, and Dr. Mary Idahosa, Acting Librarian. I thank you all for all your support. The interesting part. But before I go there, please, if I do not say this, heaven will judge me. I want to specially thank Chief Isaac Onsaya and his wife, Lolo Angela Onsaya, for everything. These people so have confidence in me. They keep encouraging me. I wouldn't have had a PhD if not for that family. Please stand up for recognition. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you so much for all you do. Thanks for being a brother and sister in need. I want to thank Mrs. Steve Agudagu. You are wonderful. God bless you. My professor, Mercy Ada Anyiwe. God bless you. There are so many. And to my darling, sweetheart, loving husband. My beloved husband, from our first shared dreams, your foresighted wisdom pierced the veil of doubt, envisioning professor long before the world did, encouraging me through late nights, article grants rejections, and breakthroughs with a faith that moves mountain or moved mountains. Your unconditional love, philosophy pure as agape, selfless, enduring without leisure, has been the invisible wind beneath my wings, the quiet heart that kept my spirit aflame when tempests raged, transforming my solitary ascent into our sacred Obasi. In the words of the ancient, two are better than one. For if one fall, one lifts the other. You have lifted me endlessly, making every victory yours, my eternal partner in purpose and joy. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. And to my lovely children, Mr. T.E. Obasi, present here today. Please, can you stand up for recognition? And Engineer C.D. Obasi, who is unavoidably absent. You too are my pride and the reason I strive higher. Thank you for being my greatest joy. May God bless you all. Thank you. Please, my sincere apologies. With my hands raised up, I candidly recognize our amiable, distinguished registrar, Mr. Vincent Itoya. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Please be seated. I was now wondering whether Professor Obasi was a professor of accounting or literature. Thank you very much. With the kind permission of the Vice Chancellor, I'd like to recognize very, very important guests and dignitaries to the 25th Inaugural Lecture of Benson Idahosa University. You know, a businessman who thought that his accountant was overrated called one of his boys, his sales boys that he brought from the village, and said, go and study accounting. So he took him to the university, and they said, well, he has to have WAEC first and JAMB. So he went and enrolled him for external candidate GCE. On the day of economics, he drove him there himself and waited in the car for him to write and come. The paper was for 3 hours, but the guy was out in 30 minutes. So he said, you're finished? He said, no, he didn't know all the questions. He only knew one, number 3. And the man said, what was number 3? He said, they said, what's the difference between a store, no, a shop and a warehouse? And the man said, okay, so how did you answer? He said, I told them that the warehouse is in Alaba and the shop is in mile 2. The man said, good boy. He said, did you add our address? The guy said, I forgot. He said, my friend, go back and write the address. That's how you lose customers. Can somebody help me, please? If you thought that was easy, then you are grossly mistaken. A round of applause for Professor Rosemary Obiageri Obasi. Thank you very much. Thank you. Many, many months, sleepless nights of preparations. That was wonderful. While the inaugural lecturer was doing what she does best, the president of Benson Idahosa University and overseer of the Church of God Mission International came in. Ladies and gentlemen, please help, as we stand, please help me welcome and honor this man, the Right Reverend Dr. Feb Idahosa II. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Now that you are here, I know that my salary for the month will be paid. Thank you. And we have some very, very distinguished people here. Sometimes the reverence attached to some of these names make it difficult for me to introduce them, but I'll do my best. First, I'd like to recognize the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Benin, perhaps the biggest masquerade in the theater of accounting profession in Nigeria, an emeritus professor of the Benson Idahosa University. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Professor Awulime Anao. You are welcome, sir. Those are the big masquerades. I also want to recognize and welcome this man. His citation is quite large, but I will just summarize. He is the pioneer inaugural lecturer of Benson Idahosa University, the pioneer dean of the Faculty of Agriculture and Agricultural Technology of Benson Idahosa University, the first homegrown professor, Benson Idahosa University, the former Deputy Vice Chancellor of Benson Idahosa University, and former multiple acting Vice Chancellor of Benson Idahosa University. Ladies and gentlemen, Professor Johnson Olajide Oyedeji. You're welcome, sir. Your footprints are visible on the annals of the history of Benson Idahosa University. I also want to recognize and welcome former principal officer of this university, precisely the former librarian, not acting, librarian of Benson Idahosa University, Mrs. Grace Sani. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you. The wife of a professor. I didn't say that. Next to her is a regular feature in our inaugural lectures. Matter of fact, in every ceremony in this university. Always here, always present. I thought we would clap for that. He's former Dean of the School of Postgraduate Studies of Benson Idahosa University, Professor Bamidele Sani. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for being here. In no particular order, I will introduce other guests. The chairman of the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Mabel Osevenge, FCA. You're welcome, ma'am. Together with all your members who are here present, you are all welcome. I'd like to also recognize and welcome the president of Catholic Women Organization, Benin City, Mrs. Agnes Ogbewi, and the entire organization. You are all welcome. Thank you all for being here. I also want to recognize Old Students Association of Holy Trinity Grammar School. You are all welcome. That is the alma mater of the inaugural lecturer. I'd like to recognize the chairman of that's Holy Trinity Grammar School. Well, maybe the said chairman of Holy Trinity Grammar School, Mr. Solomon Bode. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for being here. Okay. The secretary is also here, Mr. Victor Oike. You're welcome. Another member, Shaibu Yusuf Dalami. You're welcome, sir. Professor J.O. Owan, you're welcome. Barrister Phyllis Sohonsi, you're welcome, sir. I'd like to recognize and welcome the dean of the former dean of the Faculty of Engineering, BIU, Benson Idahosa University, Professor Fred Obiageri. You're welcome, sir. I'd like to recognize and welcome from the University of Benin, Professor J.O. Ilaboya. You're welcome, sir. I'd like to recognize and welcome, the Director of Academic Planning of Benson Idahosa University, Professor Mrs. Helen Inikbi Ajayi. You're welcome, ma'am. I'd like to recognize and welcome the Director of Fundraising, Benson Idahosa University, Dr. Morede Odige. You're welcome, sir. I'd like to recognize and welcome a member of ICANN, fellow chartered accountant, CFCA, I don't know what that means, Mr. Hope Wonlu. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you. Please forgive me. Thank you very much for being here. I'd like to recognize and welcome yet again the husband of the inaugural lecturer, Mr. F.I. Obasi. You're welcome, sir. The father of the inaugural lecturer, whose genetic materials she possesses, Chief Simon Aneke. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir. You're welcome. We want to recognize Chairman Agen Longspan Industries Limited, Right Honorable Andrew Agemome. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. We want to welcome the representatives of the palace. I would expect that should be the palace of the Oba of Benin. I'm seeing one, Lion Gavin Osayande. You're welcome, sir. Thank you for being here. We have Chief Osamayi. You're welcome, sir. The Akenua of Benin Kingdom. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for being here. Then we also have Mr. Edomoyi Ehis. You're welcome, sir. I'd like to recognize Reverend Father, the resident Reverend Father of St. Peter's Catholic Church, Benin City, a distinguished student of the Faculty of Law of Benson Idahosa University, Father Alexander Ejiofor. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. I'd like to recognize and welcome from the Department of Economics, University of Benin, Professor Mercy Ada Anyiwe. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you very much. The former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, University of Benin, and an old student of Holy Trinity Grammar School, Secondary School, Professor Ray Ozolwa. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much for being here, sir. Thank you all for your patience. We'll be through with these introductions in a minute, and we'll be done with this inaugural lecture. I'd like to recognize the presence of the managing partner, the Diamond Cycles and Synergy Limited, Dr. Yuwa Aladeshilu. You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you for being here. I'd like to recognize the presence of Mr. Ajayi Soni, Signs of Spirituality. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. From our online viewers, we have the former Executive Secretary of the National Universities Commission, Professor Okebukola Thank you for joining us today, sir. We have Professor Iyitokbe. Thank you for joining us. We have Annie John. Thank you for joining us. We have Professor Adege. Thank you for joining us. We have Professor Uchechukwu. Thank you for joining us. We have Professor Patrick of Viasui. Thank you for joining us. And we have Professor Emmanuel Ibezim. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, gentlemen. At this juncture, I'd like to respectfully invite to the podium the Vice Chancellor and Chairman of the Senate of Benson Idahosa to present the synopsis of the inaugural lecture, and there are decorate the inaugural lecturer. A round of applause for the Vice Chancellor, please.
Thank you all. Thank you for your patience. The synopsis. Of the lecture entitled From Numbers to Nation Building, the Imperative of Financial Reporting and Corporate Governance for Accountability and Sustainable Development in Nigeria. Professor Rosemary Obiageri Obasi's landmark inaugural lecture, which is titled From Numbers to Nation Building, the Imperative of Financial Reporting and Corporate Governance for Accountability and Sustainable Development in Nigeria, powerfully reframes accounting from technical record keeping to a strategic pillar of national transformation. The lecture presents a financial reporting and corporate governance, now supercharged by digital technologies, from indispensable tools for transparency, accountability, and sustainable development in Nigeria's emerging economy. The key contributions of the lecture include enhanced financial disclosure, governance research frontiers, technological innovation, state performance metrics. The highlights of the lecture, or the lecture highlighted the essence of financial review collection ratio and security per capita debt ratio, financial recurrent utilization ratio, and financial current ratio, revealing pending inefficiencies that hinder development. It also shows that dealt with education, experience, gender, tenure, directly shaping reporting integrity. The lecturer made prescriptive roadmaps stating that accountants must elevate themselves from mere number crunchers to nation builders, harnessing their expertise to drive sustainable economic growth. Policymakers should embrace revenue optimization strategies, tie emoluments to performance outcomes, boldly lead the charge for transformative change. Academia bears the responsibility to bridge the gap between theory and practice through rigorous policy, relevant research that informs real-world solutions. Meanwhile, the private sector must prioritize psychometric broad selection and instill ethical at the training to foster integrity from the highest levels. A visionary call by stating that the numbers don't add up, they build nations. Nigeria's trustworthy, equitable, demands this collective embrace of financial integrity as the bedrock of sustainable development. The lecture made its impact by a clearer call positioning Professor Rosemary Obiageri Obasi as Nigeria's preeminent voice on accountable governance with actionable framework ready for immediate policy adoption. On this note, I would like to invite 25th Senior Professor of Benson Idahosa University for decoration. Let me also specially thank the 25th Inaugural Lecturer, Benson Idahosa.
May we have the immediate family of Professor Rosemary Obasi come to the podium? The immediate family, the husband, the kids. closing formalities. No. BIU anthem. Then we'll quickly follow that up with the national anthem. Respectfully, the Deputy Vice
for go to our respective locations. May please, can you stand briefly, please, till
presenter of today's inaugural. Thank you very much. Where's Maro?